Ed eccoci in live ragazzi, ben trovati su Kristal Cross Gaming, il canale Twitch, con un nuovo appuntamento con le nostre reaction e analisi, ovvero l'appuntamento abbastanza, cioè il format abbastanza recente introdotto qui sul canale, in cui praticamente vediamo insieme un qualcosa di veramente interessante, lo analizziamo, ne parliamo e alla fine di tutto ciò dovremmo essere tutti un po' più contenti e un po' più informati su qualcosa in particolare. D'accordo? Un saluto a tutti ragazzi, ciao Jurega, Silvio, Luke, ben trovati ragazzi, ciao Denon, ben trovati a tutti. Allora, prima di partire come sempre io direi un 5-10 minuti, lasciamocelo per dare modo alle persone di arrivare e quindi diamo un po' di introduzione a tutto quanto prima di partire, d'accordo? Come sapete questo format io l'ho introdotto recentemente, non ho mai voluto esagerare con questi tipi di reaction perché non mi è mai piaciuta l'idea di diventare una sorta di reaction channel, ok? In cui non si fanno contenuti propri ma praticamente si reagisce ai contenuti altrui e ci si aggiunge del proprio. Non che questi canali non abbiano senso di esistere, per carità, assolutamente sì, e ne seguo anche alcuni, però in tutta onestà ho sempre preferito fare qualcosa di un po' più mio. D'accordo? Questo non vuol dire però che non possano esserci degli spunti molto interessanti, delle cose molto belle da vedere insieme e soprattutto alcune cose che potreste non conoscere affatto, perché gran parte delle cose che vi mostrerò in questa serie di reaction e analisi, e questa con tutta probabilità è una di queste, sono delle cose che arrivano dal mondo anglosassone, perciò inglesi, che con i sottotitoli in italiano sono usufruibili al pubblico anche italiano, che probabilmente non sapete, non conoscete perché non sono così popolari in Italia, d'accordo? Ma vale veramente la pena, credetemi, perché sono delle cose che io ho già visto e ritengo abbastanza valide da mostrarvele così come sono e valide tanto da poterne parlare e insomma alla fine di tutto questo percorso penso che gradirete che cosa ne è venuto fuori, d'accordo? Ciao Vesh, ciao Arsum, ben trovati. Oggi mi sono tagliato la barba, sembravo Kratos, ora sembro Atreus. Va bene, lo so ragazzi. Io l'ho fatto anch'io qualche anno fa di tagliarmi completamente la barba. Prima o poi ricapiterà perché ogni tanto è bene farlo per fare un attimino, insomma, per fare un po' di ricambio, per così dire, alla pelle. Passare un periodo senza barba ogni tanto fa bene, però non adesso. Ok, sicuramente non adesso. RRF, ciao. Ciao. Allora, facciamo un po' di introduzione, ragazzi. Il documentario che vedremo insieme, perché è effettivamente documentario, è di un canale chiamato NoClip. Se frequentate YouTube inglese, per così dire, dovreste conoscerlo, perché è un canale abbastanza famoso che fa questo, principalmente, fa documentari su videogiochi. E parla principalmente dello sviluppo, di tutte le vicende che ci sono state, eccetera, eccetera. Uno dei documentari più famosi di NoClip è proprio quello su Final Fantasy XIV, che io ho ripreso in buona parte ai fini della realizzazione del mio video, Il miracolo di Final Fantasy XIV, in cui vi ho raccontato tutta quanta la storia dello sviluppo, e se non l'avete visto, credetemi, andatelo a recuperare perché è veramente qualcosa di notevole, non tanto il video voglio dire, è notevole il tema, quello che è successo con lo sviluppo di Final Fantasy XIV, è una vicenda veramente assurda da tantissimi punti di vista, che però si è conclusa talmente bene da diventare una specie di piccolo mito interno, soprattutto agli amanti di Final Fantasy. Ciao Nico! E finché non tingi i capelli puoi rasare quello che vuoi, perché chi te l'ha detto che non lo farò di tingere i capelli? Anzi, è una cosa che metto in conto di fare, a dir la verità. Non ti prego, non tagliarla, perderesti le tue forze. E che vabbè, con la coda coi Saiyan. E allora no, dove ero rimasto? Sì. Quindi NoClip, questo canale qui, realizza dei video, dei documentari sui videogiochi molto fighi. Uno di questi mi ha particolarmente colpito, che è quello su Hades. Hades è stato uno dei giochi miei preferiti del 2020 praticamente. Se non ci fosse stato The Last of Us Parte 2 avrebbe avuto serie possibilità di vincere il mio personale gioco dell'anno. È incredibile quel gioco, e considerando soprattutto che è stato fatto da Supergiant, che è un team relativamente piccolino. Beh, adesso è un po' più grande, però il team conta un certo numero di persone e non più. Si parla di decine, non certo centinaia. D'accordo? Quindi, quello che è stato lo sviluppo di Hades, secondo me vale la pena vederlo insieme. D'accordo? Cominciamo con questo. Prima di fare qualunque video reaction e analisi, ragazzi, voglio fare sempre di più una cosa in particolare. Siccome di fatto noi stiamo prendendo il lavoro di qualcun altro e vedendolo così, no? Alcuni lo ritengono piuttosto, diciamo, poco etico farlo. Io voglio dire, mi preoccupo di questa cosa, quindi voglio assolutamente dirvi, andate sul canale di NoClip, no? Video Game Documentaries, ok? Andatevi a iscrivere, una bella iscrizione, andate a vedere un po' di video di questo canale perché sono veramente, veramente fighi, credetemi, e se non conoscete l'inglese però potete utilizzare i sottotitoli in inglese e la traduzione automatica di Google, perché i sottotitoli in inglese sono fatti custom, non sono generati automaticamente, ok? I sottotitoli ci sono per, credo, tutti quanti i video. E quindi se fate così, l'italiano è piuttosto comprensibile, cioè è fatto bene, e infatti è il modo in cui vedremo il video di oggi. Io ho controllato, ho visto un bel pezzo di video con i sottotitoli, corrisponde, io l'inglese lo conosco, insomma sentivo che corrispondeva perfettamente, almeno per ora. Ci potrà essere qualche errorino, ma niente di che. E vi invito ovviamente, come sempre, se volete supportare anche NoClip, non solo a iscrivervi, lasciare un like e vedere i video, ma c'è anche l'abbonamento, hanno il Patreon, quindi se vi piace il lavoro che fanno, andateli a supportare, d'accordo? Quindi io direi che adesso aspettiamo giusto un paio di altri minuti e dopodiché buttiamoci nella visione del documentario di Hades, che si chiama Developing Hell, ok? Lo sviluppo dell'inferno. E questo ha due significati. Uno, perché stavano sviluppando un gioco che effettivamente è ambientato nell'inferno. Due, perché lo sviluppo è stato... Adesso vedrete, d'accordo? Ok, metti le salse che vuoi, gli dei metti nella salsa che vuoi, vendono sempre. Sì, è vero, è vero, è vero. Adesso mi ha fatto incazzare un sacco. È normale, ragazzi, perché è piuttosto difficile. Sansone, che per i capelli, Sansone? Ah, perfetto. Lo fa alla maratona, magari? Mai dire mai. No, a parte gli scherzi, mi sa di no. Però prima o poi lo farò. I giovani non conoscono simili figure. Adesso è un roguelike con 80 ore di gioco. Assolutamente, ragazzi. È sempre sopravvalutato, è un mezzo dio troppo pompato. Ciao Musa, ciao Musa. Allora gente, io direi Coca-Cola pronta, svapatore pronto, spero che abbiate con voi qualcosa, i popcorn eccetera, e quindi ci buttiamo nella visione di questo documentario. Ecco sì, ultima cosa, molto importante. Caso vuole che anche questo documentario sia diviso in 6 parti, esattamente come quello di Xbox, il che vuol dire che vedremo 2 parti alla volta, il che vuol dire che questa reaction analisi sarà divisa in 3 puntate, d'accordo? Perché sì, perché sennò sarebbe un casino vederlo tutto quanto insieme, sono non so quante ore, d'accordo? Poi oltretutto ci fermiamo, ogni tanto ne parliamo, perciò non voglio allungare troppo le cose. La Red Bull ha i frutti di drago? Che cos'è un frutto di drago? È bello quel case della Coca-Cola, in realtà mi dicono che sembra una candela. E in effetti un po' lo sembra. Sarete consegnati al drastico. Vabbè, il drastico malediceva comunque, quindi in realtà vale la pena. Coca-Cola è accettata lo stesso? E io Coca-Cola zero, rigorosamente ragazzi, perché se no la quantità di zucchero e di cose, per carità. E va bene, ragazzi, io direi sorsetto e ci buttiamo nella visione del documentario. Siete pronti? Come sempre, mi raccomando, seguitemi qui su Twitch se ancora non l'avete fatto, pigiate quel bel cuoricino, abbonatevi con Twitch Prime se ne avete la possibilità perché aiuta davvero tantissimo il canale. Seguitemi sui social come Instagram e Telegram dove c'è la community, supportate il canale tramite i link affiliati ad Amazon, Instant Gaming o tramite il Patreon e iscrivetevi ai miei 2 canali YouTube, tutti i link sono qui sotto o tramite il bot in chat. D'accordo? Pronti? Si va! How Supergiant secretly launched Hades, Developing Hell. Come Supergiant ha segretamente lanciato Hades. Vai!
We can try it now. So, yes, the game just launched, or launched earlier. We're back from the Game Awards. I think that was the most stressful thing I've done in a long time. We knew it was supposed to go live in the first 30 minutes, and the premiere still hasn't happened. I went to epicgames.com, the store, whatever the URL is, and we can edit it in. I went to the store and it was there and showed it to Greg, and Greg is like basically mainlining Twitter into his veins to see if anyone has seen it. 6:10 happens and then 6:15 happens and no one is talking about it. And no one has seen the game, and we realize that www.playhades.com 404s, it doesn't go anywhere.
Iniziamo dalle cose sfiziose. Dopo tutto il casino, questo è un piccolo sneak peek al momento del lancio del gioco, ok? Pensate a un team di sviluppo che fa tutto quanto il lancio del gioco, che deve essere lanciato ai Game Awards, soprattutto per un team piuttosto piccolo come il loro, preparano tutto quanto e poi si accorgono che www.playhades.com, ops, non va da nessuna parte. Qualcuno ha sbagliato a fare. Qua c'è qualche cazzo di casino con l'indirizzo che praticamente la gente incuriosita da Hades clicca lì, va a trovare, ops, non c'è niente. Pensate la quantità di bestemmie che possono aver lanciato questi qua. Quello là dietro un bel forno? Sì. Per metterci la testa quando succede una cosa del genere. Ok? Vi ricordo ragazzi che i sottotitoli sono la traduzione in italiano dei sottotitoli in inglese, quindi qualcosina potrebbe essere un po' così, ok? Però insomma penso che si capisca perfettamente uguale.
And that's the URL at the end of the trailer.
Dicembre, 6 dicembre 2018 Supergiant annuncia la release del loro successivo gioco. Hades ha lanciato in Early Access e avrà update nel corso del tempo. NoClip sta filmando lo sviluppo di Hades per tutta la sua durata dell'Early Access. Giusto specificare. Hades è stato lanciato in Early Access per tipo 2 anni, se non ricordo male. Ok, ma adesso vediamo il documentario, che non mi ricordo esattamente la durata dell'Early Access di Hades, però sì, è stato lanciato in Early Access per lungo tempo. E in questo Early Access c'è stato tantissimo lavoro dietro per migliorare il gioco da tanti punti di vista. Ok? Quindi il lancio di cui si parla è il lancio dell'Early Access. Questi NoClip chi sono? È un gruppo americano di persone che realizzano documentari e vengono aiutati dalla gente tramite Patreon o abbonamenti su YouTube, raccolgono i soldi e si armano, passano tipo un mese da una parte e realizzano il documentario. Genially Access aveva ottimi voti, assolutamente sì. Però l'esplosione c'è stata con il lancio e sono molto contento. Un mese prima, San Francisco, California.
Hello, my name is Greg Kasavin, and my title is Creative Director at Supergiant Games. Supergiant Games is a small independent studio here in San Francisco, California. We've been around for almost 10 years, since 2009.
Per dare un po' di contesto in più, ragazzi, sono gli sviluppatori di Bastion. E adesso lo vedrete.
And we say we want to make games that spark your imagination like the games you played as a kid, which means something to us, hopefully it means something to you. Supergiant Games was founded by my colleagues Amir Rao and Gavin Simon, who I worked with back at Electronic Arts in Los Angeles on the Command & Conquer series of real-time strategy games. But at around that era, we started to see this kind of growing trend among smaller independent developers, and there were these games like Braid and Castle Crashers and Plants vs. Zombies that were made by
Bastion, Transistor e un altro gioco che non ricordo, Fire.
People, give or take, and Amir and Gavin.
10 persone, raga. 10 persone all'epoca in cui stavano registrando questa cosa qui. Adesso sono sicuramente di più, anche perché stanno con tutta probabilità preparando il loro prossimo gioco e se devono scalare ancora di più la qualità rispetto ad Hades, e già la qualità lì era veramente alta, c'è bisogno di più gente. Ciao Pasquale!
Started wondering, well, what if we could do that? Just so happened that Amir's father had a vacated home in San Jose, California. And one day in, I believe it was August of 2009, Gavin and Amir dropped everything, left their jobs at EA, moved to the house in San Jose and got busy working on the game that became Bastion.
Questa è una storia, ragazzi, che se vedete le storie di tanti team di sviluppo è una cosa piuttosto comune, specie un po' di anni fa lo era, ai tempi dell'esplosione del mondo indie, quando alcuni giochi indipendenti cominciarono seriamente, concretamente ad affermarsi in maniera molto importante. Meat Boy, Braid, c'era quell'altro, come si chiama, quel platform che però si girava su 4 assi, non mi ricordo mai come si chiama, Fez. Esatto, questo genere di giochi lanciarono una specie di trend veramente tanto nell'industria e ci furono tante persone che praticamente cosa fecero? Ok, quindi si può fare. E allora alcuni lasciarono il lavoro nelle major del settore e dissero, si mettono insieme a un po' di persone, amici e persone di cui si fidano e ok, vai, mettiamoci insieme e facciamo un gioco noi. Ok, fuori dal circolo dei mainstream. È esattamente quello che è successo con loro. Avete sentito la storia? C'era uno di loro, aveva qualcuno che aveva una casa libera da affittare e si sono praticamente messi insieme il gruppo, hanno portato tutto lì e si sono messi lì.
The first game from our studio.
Hades 2, chi può dire?
Team,
non lo so.
Starting with just Gavin and Amir grew to the size of 7 over the course of Bastion's development. I reunited with Gavin and Amir about a year into development as Bastion was going into full production. Thankfully, that game was really well received when it came out in 2011. 2 years flat. It was kind of the startup company mindset.
È un gioco che dovrei davvero giocare, Bastion.
Gavin and Amir were both, I think, pretty kind of stir crazy by the time the project was over. Gavin's car would like routinely break down from not being operated for many days at a time and things like that.
We were interested after the sort of bright colors and hopeful world. Well, I mean, it was a post-apocalyptic world. After the bright colors of Bastion and upbeatness of some aspects of that game, of going to like a more serious place, going to a tone, like an operatic tone with Transistor, and going away from the really sort of hyperactive action gameplay of Bastion into a more deliberate, tactical type of play with Transistor. We kind of knew we wanted to make a sci-fi love story, and we knew we wanted to make we wanted a game with more tactical pleasures, but we had no idea what that was going to look like until we started working on it.
E questo è Transistor.
Like 3 years on that one, and then we made a game called Pyre, which took another 3 years after that.
With Pyre, it was similar. We wanted a game with a larger cast of characters that you could get closer to, and it wasn't clear to us what that game was going to be until we spent a lot of time on it. It was something that we had a lot of joy making, and I think we were just ready to have a game where you fought some dudes as a starting point. There was so many lofty ambitions behind Pyre in terms of being a larger game from us, but without us growing the team a bunch. Like, Jen drew every character in that game. You know, Darren made every piece of music, and every character in that game, from the shopkeeper to the exiles you meet, all have their own musical theme. Greg did like an ending that has like millions of permutations based on what you decide to do over the course of that game. So you spend a lot of time doing something like that, and it's a complicated process, and it was a laborious process. And it's not that we were interested in doing something uncomplicated or that didn't take our best efforts. I think we were just interested in doing something we could play really quickly and start working on really quickly and start making good really quickly.
And here we are about to announce as well as launch our fourth game in less than a month from this moment when I'm speaking right now. For us, it's very exciting, and we were really anxious and excited to see what everyone is going to think of what we have in store next.
Hades, il documentario sullo sviluppo. Vedrete, è interessante.
Our fourth game is called Hades. It's a narrative-driven roguelike dungeon crawler in which you battle your way out of the underworld of Greek myth, defying the god of death himself as you go. We wanted to create a game that we can keep building on, that could be replayed over and over, but that still had the kind of the signature aspects of our past games, the attention to world building, the attention to narrative,
un po' di mitologia greca,
that really
qualcosa.
rewarded experimentation and let you kind of find your own play style within it. One of the aspects of the theme that was fun for us to explore and to answer was like, well, for a game set in the Greek underworld, what happens when you die? You're already in the land of death. You're just there already. So the premise of our game is the protagonist is attempting to escape from Greek hell. We kind of pitch it to ourselves as like a reverse Diablo. Instead of trying to fight your way down to hell, you're trying to rise up to the surface. But every time you get close, you die and back down you go, and you get to try again. But in our game, you particularly wind up at home, not just in a random spot in the underworld, but in the house of Hades himself, because you play as his son, and his son and Hades himself they're not on the best of terms here. There's been some kind of blowout fight between them. His son has basically said, "Screw you, Dad, I'm out of here," climbs out his windows running away from home, but Hades is like, "You miserable, ungrateful brat, you're an idiot if you think you're getting out of here."
Be on your way indeed. What do I care? You shall never reach the surface. Go, see for yourself.
So, to remind ourselves where we are at. Today is November 12th. Our game comes out in early access on December 6th. The Game Awards are December 6th. We are in the last week of content number 7, which is the last full milestone we have before early access. There is a play test tomorrow. Next week is a short week because it's Thanksgiving. The office is closed on Thursday and Friday. We have always treated those days like weekends, so no weekend email and stuff on Thursdays and Fridays, Saturday and Sunday. Between today and the 30th, there are 3 or 4 huge things happening. So one is we are going to basically wrap the build. We're going to wrap a trailer also, and we're sending a version of that trailer out hopefully at the end of this week to key people. So you may get bugs that are...
Qualche errore c'è nei sottotitoli, ragazzi, ma abbiate pazienza perché sono quelli generati da una traduzione, ok? Ma penso che comunque si capisca perfettamente lo stesso.
Like, hey, this is affecting trailer capture or something like that. If you get a bug like that, just make sure to try and bump it up or to have a conversation about it if it seems like something you can't do fast.
to us, it seems boring to see a dude running through this environment, but I think it's the first time you're seeing the isometric world and all that. Like,
yeah, there's a lot to take in.
There's a lot to take in, and like it's pretty awesome looking.
Yeah, I think my feedback is coming from the part where like that particular shot is framed really weirdly. Like he's way to the left.
By comparison to Red drawing the sword from the guy and winding up in the pose there, it's like as an introduction to this character, it's just you don't get anything from this.
Yeah.
Of course, thankfully, you got it from here, so it's fine. We give you the kind of like whatever the intimate scale, and then we're like, yeah, but you're this guy. I don't know. Just as much as possible as we could bridge that for people, the more that we could do there, the better. Even though it's like a costly.
I've hung on to the feedback. I just don't think we should do something about it.
The thing I want to make sure of though is that we have the that we know exactly what all the shots actually are, so then we can like focus.
We toil on games for a long time, and they come out, and that's it. You know, we often support them by making different versions, and you know, we go to PAX and we see our fans and that kind of thing. But we're really interested in trying to do something almost in collaboration with the people who have allowed us to make games together for many years now.
A lot of developers, I think, would agree that you only feel truly at your peak kind of working on the game that you're making in the last few months of development. It's almost tragic. You're working on it for 3 years or whatever, not quite understanding what you're making, and at the end you feel a real efficiency around it. You're like you're at your prime, but you're having to wrap up, and then you move on to your next project. So with early access, it means that we could sort of keep working on it at the height of our ability for the longest period of time. We could keep iterating on aspects based on feedback that we get. And we can make really smart decisions, hopefully over a longer period of time, and then do new things with the storytelling and that aren't possible when we have to sort of deliver the whole story all in one chunk. So there's just a laundry list of reasons why it was exciting for us to explore. It will have its twists and turns as we develop it over time. Of course, for the player who wants the more traditional Supergiant experience with a beginning, middle, and end, you know, they could always hang out for a couple of years until we're done with early access, and one day the game will be complete from start to finish in that sense. But for everyone else, we're really excited to have them kind of along for the ride as we first put this out there and then evolve it based on our own plans and the feedback that we get from.
Questa è una cosa importante, ragazzi, perché Hades, avendo avuto un early access così importante, loro hanno lavorato moltissimo al gioco, e difatti è abbastanza diverso, se ci pensate, in alcune cose rispetto alla prima versione early access. È molto più ricco, perché grazie al feedback dei giocatori che l'hanno preso e l'hanno giocato per un bel pezzo, alla fine è stato lanciato nella sua versione definitiva, proprio la 1.0, in una maniera veramente ricca, e il momento in cui è arrivato sul mercato completo era veramente completo, e io mi ricordo che l'ho trovato veramente incredibile, e tantissime persone hanno avuto più o meno la stessa sensazione, ma è stato grazie al talento di chi ci lavora, e adesso li conoscerete piano piano quelli del team di sviluppo e vedrete che cosa hanno fatto, e anche però tutto il percorso, il feedback, insomma sono cose che contano e spesso sono sottovalutate.
From folks who play.
Relax può fare miracoli se gestito bene. Esatto.
What is the date today? November. It's November 13th, and this is our playtest day. Once a month, we all sit down for at least 90 minutes and play the same version of the same build. And then we get into a room and share our high-level thoughts about.
Ne c'è l'inferno dei giochi da capo, sì, però narrativamente sono cambiate alcune cose.
What are the big things that we might want to change as a result? And then that helps us determine what we're going to do for the next 4 weeks.
I came in early, I got my playtesting done, and now I'm fixing some of the many bugs that are caused by the playtest. Right now there's this really weird one where because the swarmers aren't getting the Ares curse applied correctly if you like have this very specific combination of traits. I'm trying to figure out why.
This one is kind of special because it's our very last one before the early access build comes out, so like our
Ah, perché non lo fanno tutti, intendo early access? Allora, è molto semplice ragazzi, l'early access è un modo per pubblicare il gioco in una versione che in realtà non è definitiva, per avere il feedback dei giocatori. Sulla carta potrebbe sembrare una cosa assolutamente buona da fare, se hai un buon rapporto con la tua community, se ti piace ascoltare quello che hanno da dire e non hai paura di mostrare in anticipo alcune cose. In questo ci sono alcuni problemi però. In giochi molto narrativi in cui la storia fa da padrona e di fatto c'è una trama e delle cose che non devono essere spoilerate, l'early access è praticamente impossibile, perché di fatto potresti azzoppare l'esperienza a tantissime persone che poi magari lo giocano tutto quanto in una versione early access, poi il gioco esce ma la storia l'hanno già giocata, e se la storia è il punto focale del gioco te la sei già spoilerata, c'è una storia che ha girato, vuoi o non vuoi, potrebbero pure, anzi sicuramente poi escono degli spoiler anche per chi vuole aspettare l'uscita, c'è un sacco di gente che invece però il gioco l'ha finito, capite? Quindi non c'è quel senso di sorpresa e di segreto che deve esserci fino al momento del lancio. L'altra cosa è che onestamente usano l'early access molti team tra virgolette un po' più piccoli, no? Per giochi come questo. Le beta, le alfa sono molto usate da chi fa giochi multiplayer. Pensate per esempio a uno dei multiplayer più famosi e di successo in assoluto, Call of Duty, pubblica delle alfa e delle beta, chiuse ma anche aperte, perché così i giocatori possono giocarci e tutti possono testare il gioco, perché deve essere fatto un bilanciamento e devono provare il gioco con degli elementi che ancora non ci sono, perché vuoi o non vuoi, tu realizzi un gioco multiplayer, però non ce l'hai veramente in studio i giocatori che giocano a quel gioco lì. Quindi, vuoi o non vuoi, quella è un po' obbligatoria. Viene utilizzata per rendersi conto degli eventuali problemi che possono essere risolti prima che il gioco venga lanciato, perché poi quando è lanciato ragazzi deve funzionare, specie un gioco che deve accogliere milioni di persone in un ambiente multiplayer, d'accordo? Per i single player invece è un po' più semplice, perché le aziende possono effettivamente rivolgersi al solo team di sviluppo per risolvere tutto, ok? E ci sono alcuni team che lo fanno, l'early access nonostante tutto, e ci sono alcuni team che preferiscono rimanere, diciamo, per cavoli loro e rimanere segreti, no? E poi lasciare e rilanciare il gioco, tutto quanto, lanciare il gioco esattamente così come deve essere. Alcune grosse aziende, a dir la verità, cioè, io credo che per alcune aziende l'early access sia una sorta di stigma, cioè, se hai un team di centinaia di persone e hai bisogno dell'early access, potresti perfino pensare che questo sia in sostanza una brutta figura. Di tutte le centinaia di persone che ci lavorano non siete riusciti a fare qualcosa e avete avuto bisogno del supporto degli utenti? Va benissimo per team come questo, va benissimo per tante circostanze, però non per tutti e non sempre. Ecco.
Our audience has been almost entirely just people on the team, and there's already a million things I want to change, so it's like hard for me to play it, but I too must do my 90 minutes, just like everyone else. And what's kind of cool is like no matter what you do at Supergiant, you've got to playtest the build, you've got to bring your feedback, and you've got to send your notes.
Questa è una cosa molto figa, ragazzi. In Supergiant avete sentito che politica che hanno? Una volta ogni... cosa hanno detto? Ogni settimana? Mese, non mi ricordo, sì. 90 minuti devi metterti là e giocare al gioco. Indipendentemente da tutto. 90 minuti, prendi, ti siedi e giochi. Non importa quante cose hai da fare, non importa quanti casini di bug devi risolvere, non importa quanta è impegnata la tua giornata, quanto è impegnata la tua settimana, se sei in ufficio da 48 ore. No, 90 minuti di playtest. È una gran cosa secondo me, ragazzi, perché mantiene la connessione degli sviluppatori con il gioco stesso lato giocatore. È molto molto importante. Stessa mia tastiera è quella. Anche la mia, uguale, identica. La vecchia Logitech del kit che costa in tutto 30 euro, mi pare, sì.
I also, for the first time, played with the keyboard and mouse this time, knowing that our primary audience will be PC players. This game is way harder with keyboard and mouse, was my experience. Just like aiming was a lot harder, and targeting. Like, it took me like 5 runs to last more than like 4 rooms.
I always play with keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that it was super easy and I beat the whole thing without dying.
I did feel that secret rooms no longer felt worth it. You
Kernel
take
Panic,
a
buonasera.
decent amount of health
Benvenuto in chat per la
damage
prima
just to
volta.
get a regular rewards.
Benvenuto.
It almost feels like you're giving up on, like, you can either go to a room and try to not lose any health and get the same reward, or you can just give up and take 13 damage and get the same reward.
Ed mentioned secret rooms. I had like an unfortunate experience where I spent 19 health to go into a secret room and then only got 19 health back in the secret room. So that was sort of frustrating.
The biggest set of changes we're making in the last couple of weeks are actually to like there's a whole category of like stuff that just still needs time. Like, it just needs a little bit of art. It needs one more iteration on the feedback. You know, it needs better text. It needs a better icon. It needs better visual effect. It needs more clarity in what's going on. The game needs to slow down or pause here. The game needs a better sound effect. It needs a more appropriate sound effect. Oh my God, we left an asset in there from Pyre. Oh crap, we have to switch that one out. The other kinds of changes that are being made are like on the experience. It's like, hey, no one ever takes this particular keepsake. No one ever uses this particular god boon. Everyone's avoiding using the spear. And why is that? And so we have to start making these tuning changes. And typically, this is a very stressful process for me because we ship the game and it's sort of done. And I've tried to like assuage my anxiety around this by telling myself that hopefully when players play it, they will tell me if it's bad. But the kinds of changes we're making right now are trying to make it not embarrassingly bad.
Ok, questa è una cosa molto figa. Avete sentito? Questa in realtà è una cosa molto comune, no? Quando vedi i dati dei giocatori su un gioco, ma loro lo stanno facendo internamente con il team di sviluppo, in questi playtest ovviamente tutti fanno le proprie scelte. In Hades, a seconda delle run, ci sono delle benedizioni dagli dei che tu scegli tra 3 mi pare o 4, non mi ricordo bene, e che ti danno dei potenziamenti di tipo diverso. Loro stessi si sono accorti che gli sviluppatori stessi, cioè quando ci stavano giocando, c'erano, che ne so, delle benedizioni che non sceglievano mai, dei potenziamenti nella casa che non sceglievano mai, delle armi che pochissimi sceglievano. Come mai questo? Come mai? E qui c'è tutto il pensare, ok, perché le persone non lo scelgono? È troppo divertente, dà troppo poco potere, crea dei problemi. Quindi, di nuovo, riunione, confrontiamoci su questa cosa qua. Perché questo potenziamento non sta piacendo alle persone? C'è qualcosa che possiamo fare per migliorarlo? Oppure è una cosa che vogliamo lasciare di nicchia? Questo genere di cose. È interessante. Ciao Noxt! Più che sviluppatori siamo utenti che esprimono le proprie impressioni. Bello, assolutamente. La magia di NoClip. Sì, vabbè, loro sono bravissimi a fare i documentari, questo sicuramente sì. Però si vede anche il tipo di filosofia che c'è nello studio. Questo è evidente.
Or not embarrassingly off pace, or not embarrassingly outside what you would expect. We had, 12 weapons on Bastion, and I was getting feedback about the same set of weapons a lot. And what that meant, I think what it meant, is that no one was using the other ones. So we did a set of playthroughs towards the end of the game where we split up the weapons. And so finally people were using like the bow and some of these other things. And like that's when people gave me the real dirt. When they were, when you just have to use the bow all the way through, then suddenly we had these like passionate advocates for the bow and what its upgrade trees were and what it can do and what it should do. And so for us, I think we're kind of at that point where I need a lot of information from people on the team. Everyone's trying different stuff.
NoClip per lui fa sentire il suo agio che intervista, immagino di sì.
And trying to push on the stuff that's good and kind of, tidy up the stuff that is maybe a little messy.
Allora, aspetta, me lo hanno fatto come Sony. In realtà c'è un altro documentario che vi consiglio e che a un certo punto mi sa che deciderò di vedere insieme a voi, che è il documentario sulla realizzazione di God of War, ok? Quello del 2018. E porca puttana, Nel senso, è un documentario, quello è realizzato proprio da Sony, quello che ha attraversato Santa Monica per quel gioco lì, che a differenza di Supergiant è un team bello grosso, ok? E su cui Sony ha investito veramente tanto. Se vogliamo, è proprio un altro universo. Ma noterete che ci sono certe similitudini piuttosto importanti. Vuoi o non vuoi, certe dinamiche sane che si devono creare all'interno di un team di sviluppo, io sto notando che si ripetono. Si ripetono. Per esempio, piccola citazione, in God of War c'è stato, durante lo sviluppo di God of War, c'è stato un momento in cui hanno preso un po' di ragazzi letteralmente a caso dalla strada, cioè tipo così, volete venire a provare un gioco? Dice, ah sì, ok, volentieri. Presi, bam, portati, e l'hanno fatto giocare con un pupazzo che sarebbe dovuto essere Kratos, e neanche lo sapevano che stavano giocando a quello che sarebbe poi diventato God of War, ma semplicemente un pupazzo che aveva però tutte le movenze di Kratos. Perché gliel'hanno fatto fare? Perché dovevano, in un ambiente neutro, far provare a della gente a caso completamente il sistema di combattimento, perché stavano dibattendo internamente se fosse divertente o no il sistema di combattimento, perché alcuni pensavano di no. E infatti alcuni giocatori hanno detto non lo so, c'è questa cosa che non mi sconvince tanto, non lo so, mi dà un feel strano. E sulla base di quello che hanno detto sti ragazzi, poi riunione dentro Santa Monica e cambiare tutto quanto. Beh, questa è una bella cosa che succede, cioè questo è quello che succede nei team sani. Sì. Lo seguitore è anche uno sviluppatore, ma vede l'amore che ci mette, assolutamente. Sì. Bellissimo, quello, si sono ammazzati per finire quel gioco, decisamente. Poi hanno corso un rischio, madonna, a riprendere quel franchise e stravolgerlo completamente.
I hadn't played since the last playtest, and it took me a couple runs to remember the door icons, for whatever that's worth. I kept getting confused between, I think it's Aphrodite is the heart, and then also the health room.
The save slot activation was confusing to me. I didn't know that I had to go up to hit continue. After selecting a save slot, I kind of wanted to just double click into it. It was just kind of a weird little note I had.
I think we were talking about it. We have 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks until our ship. That actually calculates down to 9 days of work because
Questo
it's
è l'art
also gonna be
director.
Thanksgiving, and because it's early access, we kind of are trying to encourage the team to kind of slow and steady wins the race, because it's going to go into early access, and it's not like we get to go on a break for 4 weeks. We're just going to have to keep working on it. So we got to maintain our health and mental health. So I've been working on polishing, a lot of polish. At the studio, we like to call it going to Poland. We take a trip to Poland so that we can polish sausage all of our assets up. And then I'm also in the middle of...
Questa battuta non si capisce tanto bene in italiano. Polish è in inglese è il senso di sistemare. Nello sviluppo si dice, cioè, togliere i bug, togliere le imperfezioni, cose del genere. Polish significa anche però lucidare, sistemare, oppure un pezzo di legno che ha un po' di scheggete, cioè di levigarlo, eccetera. Solo che Polish in inglese significa anche polacco, no? Ok. Te.
And kind of tying up some of the loose ends on marketing art, finishing and composing key art, working on logo treatment, and then also working on the art that will go into the trailer eventually.
We carve out lots of time at the end of our schedules for fixing and polishing. There's tons of important...
Quando traduce con lucidatura dovete ricordarvi polish, ok? È una di quelle imperfezioni della traduzione. Purtroppo, ragazzi, dobbiamo fare i conti dobbiamo accontentarci di quello che abbiamo.
Kind of micro decisions happening every single day across all dimensions of the project, like art assets that are still being touched up or polished or replaced, audio being updated, new voiceover and events and stuff still going in. So much of the game, as it's being solidified, is really truly taking shape for the first time.
Hey, did we change something about the aggro on the light range? Sorry, what? Did we change something about the aggro on the light range?
No, I never actually.
You never committed that? Okay, I think there's a bug because I'm shooting people and they have no interest in fighting back. Why does this caster not want to fight back? Do we know? Will we find out before?
Poi c'è anche quello per la carrozzeria auto, una casa, esatto.
We have to keep telling
Ciao
ourselves
Diver!
it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Così vedere un video
All
di
of
sviluppo
our
di Bethesda.
colleagues,
Beh, in realtà mi sa che
in
ci
the
sono pure
development
quelli.
community who have
Non mi pare di
worked on
averne visto
early
uno,
access
però.
games, reiterate this to us. They say
Distruggendo la tastiera, no? Allora, io per esempio ho ancora questo tipo di tastiera qua, ma le tastiere meccaniche, quelle diciamo più avanzate, che io alla fine non ho mai comprato perché non ne ho mai avuto l'esigenza, vi dico la sincera verità. Una tastiera migliore, cioè fanno un casino di merda quando clicchi. Ah, quello di Doom. Ok, però quelli di software. Nel senso, ok. Bueno, di software a certi standard, porca puttana. Io onestamente continuo a pensare che sia la migliore ditta FPS al momento. Però vabbè, è una mia opinione.
prepare yourselves because it's kind of the beginning of a whole new chapter.
Musica piena di suspense. 10 giorni prima del lancio il team sta editando il trailer, sistemando la build e sta diventando sempre tutti più ansiosi.
If I may be so bold, my lord, perhaps the merest sight of me still stirs in you a memory of my performances of yore. It gladdens me. You used to like my songs.
Ciao Saboid, grazie mille della sub. Grazie. Hai visto Carlo? Ciao, grazie mille del follow, benvenuto.
Also just him talking about being glad and happy, but never being
Stanno registrando i voice over e stanno parlando dell'intenzione che devono avere i singoli personaggi nelle singole cose. È bellissimo, sì. Anzi, questo studio sembra un salotto, ma è bellissimo. Beh, sì, è una bella cosa. Molti studi sono così, se vedete le immagini, molti sono così. Dove sono situati loro? Los Angeles, credo. Vabbè, comunque California. A San Francisco, vero?
It's Monday, November 26th, and our video game is going to be announced and released in 10 days. Normally, I find this part of the process to be one of the best, because usually so much is going into the game. You're finally getting around to some of the things that you might have postponed for a really long time. But this is...
Le KRK, no ragazzi, dai, su... Perché non le KRK? Per quello che devono fare, cioè dipende dal contesto, raga. Io non le uso, io ho le Amphion, santi Dio, quindi per carità, ok? Però le KRK vanno benissimo per certi tipi di utilizzo, non c'è nessun problema, ok?
Is a unique thing for us because we're actually announcing it and launching it at the same time. And it feels like so much more can go wrong, but also we'll be okay because we're committed to working on the game through early access.
Per editare dei voice over,
so
vanno benissimo.
what you're hearing is the constant loop of rationalization that I go through every morning on this game to try and justify where we're at.
Are you remixing the trailer music?
No, I'm just
acoustic
fidgeting.
What am I doing? I should not be doing this.
Yeah, so let's actually, if we want to just see this whole thing, it's pretty cool.
Oh, with the new, yeah.
And though I changed it.
Yeah.
I have 2 jump cuts.
Yeah. Dude, it's gonna... You think... Are you sure you're gonna... Let's go to the death moment? Yeah, that's gonna be hard. Better version.
Well, I would jump cut like... It is pretty fucking
be hard,
cool as
though.
it is. Yeah, I don't know.
I can try it a couple of times. Maybe I'll get lucky.
Where is that effect? Like, that blood effect? The spurt?
I mean, I wouldn't try...
No, like, maybe I could just ask Josh to render me, like, that effect separate, and I can just put it on, or he can put it on.
So, to remind ourselves what's happening again, the week of the Game Awards, the Monday is when we're going to lock the build. Tuesday, some of us go down to LA. We're down there Wednesday. Thursday is the Game Awards. Everyone else will watch the Game Awards from the office up here, and then launch the game that Thursday, and then work on the problems Friday, Saturday, and then work on it for years after that.
Musica edificante? Che Vabbè. Settimana di lancio.
It is Wednesday, December 5th, and tomorrow is the Game Awards. Those of us who are back here at the office are just doing something that we don't always get a lot of time to do, which is playing the game and playing it in a way where we're not constantly looking for problems and things we would fix. It's actually really hard to play a game that you can't change.
Musica di moratore.
Because we don't want to
Quella sarebbe musica edilizia.
So we're doing that. I think a lot of us wish we had more to do right now than we do. In terms of our emotional state, I think there's a lot of excitement. Epic just announced their platform yesterday, and people seem really excited about it, and we're going to be a part of that story tomorrow. So there's just a lot of different pieces coming together.
Loro hanno scelto di essere lanciati su Epic Store in esclusiva all'inizio.
How are you feeling about the announcement tomorrow?
Pretty nervous.
Mostly excited. Yeah.
I'm like super excited. I know like a bunch of people are nervous, but I'm just like really excited.
I'm just like extremely excited, but also unsure what's gonna happen.
Mostly just focus on the work, put the rest of it out of my mind. Whatever happens, happens, and we're ready to just keep.
Questa coraggiosa ma condivisiva versione console, infatti è arrivata quasi un anno dopo. Esatto.
Where are we, Darren?
We are at the Burbank Airport, across from Guy Fieri's burger joint.
We should film the sign.
We should, yeah. It's a pretty good sign. Yeah, it's a good landmark for Logan. He's gonna meet us here in a minute.
Hello, good sir. We are filming for the documentary. Good to see you, sir.
What documentary?
We're doing the NoClip thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while. Thank you. Yeah.
Hey man, I bought 6 of them.
Hold on, Jen. We're skipping a lot of layers here.
Okay. I'm sorry. I come from a Chinese family.
Too many layers.
Wait, can I just hand the rest?
Are you not partaking, Gavin? You're just eating cookies and watching?
Watching here for a moment.
and make snarky comments.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose.
From this angle, Jen, it looks like just the tree is singing because...
Still while you're on it, because it's not the most stable.
Oh, wait.
If you're gonna I'll catch you.
Don't believe Jen. It's stable.
Don't believe her lies.
I use that step tool all the time. You have to. Well, you do have to. No, it just locked.
Okay, well,
Battery pack, good luck. Okay.
Good luck.
Does it have to be on the tallest one, or can it be like second?
No, it's supposed to be up on the very top.
This is a team building exercise.
To both?
Yes.
Yeah, to both.
I'm so worried it's not going to be
Holiday
Does it stay?
Put it lower to the base of that.
I
love it.
Put it like lower to the base so you can't see the battery pack.
I need to make the
Vabbè, sono le cose normali che succedono in team, anche come andare a fare una partita a calcetto oppure altre cose, molto importanti. Ho il biglietto per i Game Awards. Ragazzi, prima o poi vi giuro che lo farò, cominciare ad andare di persona a questi eventi. Ci voglio andare. Almeno una volta.
Game Awards related news items that did leak today, so we dodged a few of those bullets, I guess. Going to be an interesting night. I think afterwards, we may double back here and just figure out what the heck is going on and try to help manage the launch, even though most of the folks back at the studio are going to help us, make sure it all goes smoothly. We're the lucky ones.
B&B ora si chiamano Airbnb. Airbnb è quello che è il portale tramite cui li prendi facilmente su internet. Quindi capace che qualcuno li chiama così adesso, ma
pre-dinner for the
Pre-celebration, pre-funking on all the pie. We have so much pie, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, I don't think we've seen this yet tonight.
No, look at this beautiful pie, Alice.
La cofana di dolci.
Has anybody touched the ciders?
I have.
I have as well.
It was great.
And the winner for Best Role-Playing Game goes to Monster Hunter World. Congratulations.
Oh, they're doing awards already?
Yeah.
The pre-show awards. The game.
Does that go on the award when you get it? Pre-show award winner.
C'è un po' di schifezze americane che sono l'altra cosa che potevo fare, devo andare negli Stati Uniti una volta in vita mia, possibilmente in Texas, a mangiare un sacco di brisket e di grigliate incredibili. Mentre agli Awards Amir sta lavorando con Epic per il lancio di Hades sul loro store, ma prima che il trailer venga mostrato Hades va in live, cioè va in live, cioè va online.
What are you watching on, Gavin?
What's that?
Are you on Twitch or YouTube?
YouTube. YouTube, I guess. Random link.
No, they put the game live early, but we can't do anything until they show the trailer.
Best composer in the world.
So people can start buying the game now.
What do you mean we can't do anything, like promote it?
I am honored to be here tonight.
Man, you've not been reading
someone
Slack
who
chat.
has truly changed.
Do you think it'd be good for me to try and do those purchases now too?
Yeah, mine isn't working, but I think it might have to do with like the address of my credit card or something like that.
I can give you my card and then I'll hop on it myself as well.
Yeah, on the Epic Games Store.
I giochi Epic Games Store.
Yeah, if you have the store open already, like before they updated it, it didn't update.
Nope. It still wants me to buy it.
Trailer is playing!
Oh my god!
From the Pyro, Bastion, and Transistor.
Where do you think you are?
Camilo, turn it up.
Who do you think you're talking to? Nobody gets out of my domain, whether alive or dead.
Che bello.
You wish to learn the hard way? Fine. Then go. Get out. Don't let me stop you.
Wasn't planning on it, Father.
I'm home. Well, time to go get killed again.
Death is your only family. Death and I.
Io me lo ricordo perché l'abbiamo visto ai Game Awards insieme. È stata una ottima mossa, l'early access immediato subito ai Game Awards.
Supergiant, that is an early access title. They're going to be updating over time and it's available tonight right now.
Perché sfrutta tutto l'hype dei Game Awards.
Yes. The game just launched earlier. We're back from the Game Awards. I think that was the most stressful thing I've done in a long time. There is some parts of it that were a little bit unexpected for me. So I had my phone and I have the whole team in a Slack channel and I have Epic in a text message. And the whole idea was Jeff was supposed to go out, announce the game, and then the store was supposed to go live. And I got a text from our friends at Epic saying, hey, we need to set the store live basically right away. It was around 5:30. And I thought that wouldn't be great at the moment because they needed time because it takes between 5 and 15 minutes for the store to propagate and for everyone to be able to see it. Jeff gave us a sense that we'd be towards the beginning of the show, but we didn't know exactly when. So he couldn't give us a time because it's a live show and you don't know what's going to happen. So I had all this pressure on one side because I wanted to make sure that the store was going to be live because there's a URL at the end telling people where to go to buy it. And I also wanted to make sure nothing leaked because we were so fortunate sitting in our seats around 5:30 that no one knew about the game or anything about it or that it was coming. And I really wanted the world premiere at the Game Awards to be a world premiere. Ended up going up around 6:08, at least the store started to propagate, or that was when we were supposed to start to set it live. It was supposed to take 5 to 15 minutes, and I think it took 45 seconds or something before it went live. And so suddenly I went to epicgames.com, the store, whatever the URL is, and we can edit it in. I went to the store and it was there and showed it to Greg, and Greg is like basically mainlining Twitter into his veins to see if anyone has seen it. 6:10 happens and then 6:15 happens and no one is talking about it and no one has seen the game. And the premiere still hasn't happened. We knew it was supposed to go live in the first 30 minutes.
Ciao Manux.
And then some other stuff happens, and we realize that www.playhades.com 404s, it doesn't go anywhere. And that's the URL at the end of the trailer. And thankfully, one of our own guys found that. And at the beginning of the trailer, I went to www.hades.com, playhades.com, and it 404'd. It wasn't working. And at the end of the trailer, I went to www.playhades.com and it was working. So, I don't know what magic they pulled there.
Praticamente, non so se avete capito bene, quella cosa che avevo detto all'inizio, no? Che allora, dovete considerare che il gioco nessuno sapeva che sarebbe uscito fino a quel momento, cioè nessuno sapeva del gioco, completo segreto. Poi ai Game Awards viene annunciato l'Early Access di Hades e in quel momento è online su Epic, da comprare. Capito? Senza teaser, senza niente, senza data di uscita, proprio bam, Early Access, sbram. Ma il sito www.playhades.com era rotto, il link era rotto, non portava da nessuna parte. Qualcuno si è accorto di questa cosa all'inizio del trailer e praticamente mentre il trailer stava andando qualcuno ha rimesso a posto quella cosa così velocemente che all'inizio del trailer il link non funzionava. Quando il trailer finisce e appare www.playhades.com sul trailer, uno poi ci andava e in quel momento invece funzionava. Quindi qualcuno, da quello che ho capito, è stato così veloce da sistemare la cosa nel tempo della durata del trailer in live nei Game Awards. Vabbè, insomma, sono quelle cose che...
Yeah, it went live and it's live and I guess people are playing it and, you know, the team is talking about it and I have no idea what they're saying.
Jesus Christ, it's true. If you can beat...
I've never made it to the Hydra.
If you can beat Meg, you can get to the Hydra, I guess.
That's been less true lately, but he has a really good build.
The guy with the bow?
He's at 9 health though.
Adesso è live e gli streamer stanno già giocando il gioco.
He has 2 sandwiches that he's not eating.
Uno streamer già è arrivato al boss finale.
He's not taking damage from anything.
Yeah, die.
Permanently.
The thing is he's gonna win because he's invulnerable all the time. And he's got one more death insurance.
It took last chance.
Oh yeah, it did.
Yeah, so he doesn't...
But this is real easy. This part is easy on, like, this last
all
part.
All you need to do is just get hit, though. Like, that's it.
Oh, he did it!
He died, right? Oh, Hydra vanquished.
Yeah.
E loro del team stanno seguendo quello streamer lì.
Yeah! Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh.
No! God damn it!
All right, type in a congratulations.
Congrats to the team.
Congrats from the Super Chat team. We're watching you. We're watching you.
Are you serious?
Oh my god.
Are you fucking kidding me? I was looking at it. He doesn't even have any epic boons.
And so begins the question earlier.
Sono tutti sconvolti del fatto che c'è uno streamer che sia riuscito ad arrivare praticamente alla fine di quello che avevano previsto essere presente il giorno 1 dell'Early Access, e praticamente lui quella sera stessa è riuscito a battere tutto quanto il gioco, e questi non l'avevano previsto. Il team lo stava seguendo su Twitch e praticamente ha detto cazzo, e adesso? Vabbè, scrivigli un messaggio di congratulazioni, qualcosa, digli cazzo stiamo lavorando al resto, una cosa del genere. Vabbè dai, queste sono le cose che fanno un po' ridere, sono belle in fondo.
Being permanently invincible surely helped him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Is that the guy talking?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, he
That's
had
a
a
good
fun
reaction,
time.
man.
He's gonna be sad when it's over.
Yeah, he just understood what.
Is this the end yet? What?
There's more. There's more. Don't worry. Chill, dude. We got you. We got you.
We got you, man.
What? That's as far as I can get for now.
Early access.
Yes!
We got you.
Ok, c'era il messaggio.
Transistor at the end, man.
Nice! Thank you! Thank you so much!
You're welcome, bro.
There's more. Talk to Hades.
Go talk to Hades, dude. Come on. I guess we just have to ship that bug forever, where you're permanently invisible.
Thank you!
Congratulazioni al team, sono sempre un piacere che ho provato. Cazzo, io no. È platinato pure quelle, pure le congratulazioni del team, esatto.
Pretty good.
Musica sentimentale.
We've always wanted to help show how games are created, to help introduce folks to the idea that game development, while fraught with challenge, is not magic. It's something that is achievable to many people out there. They have an internet connection and the time and the wherewithal to learn the tools and learn the trade and learn the craft. We hope in developing the public eye that, hopefully it's good for our game, but also if it helps some folks out there on their own journeys to discovering where they stand with respect to wanting to be game makers, I on a personal level, I hope that happens, since that's how I got into it myself.
Ok, questa è la prima parte, ragazzi, mo parte subito la seconda. Dato che ci siamo, vi ricordo, ragazzi, che se volete sostenere NoClip, andate come minimo a fare l'iscrizione e lasciare un like al video, ma c'è il Patreon, tramite cui realizzano tutti questi bei documentari.
I'm looking at the death area where, well, that's our internal name, it's the House of Hades, where when you die you go back to these little ghosts.
Video reaction vanno visti sempre tutti, ragazzi, comprese le pubblicità, comprese i richiami al Patreon, ovviamente. Noi pochi che se lo merita Danny, assolutamente. Vedi? Funzionano col crowdfunding loro, funzionano proprio così. Ora, seconda parte. Developing Hell, numero 2.
Previously on Hades Developing Hell.
Our fourth
Il
game
caos
is called
di
Hades.
patchare
It's
Hades.
a narrative-driven roguelike dungeon crawler in which you battle your way out of the underworld of Greek myth.
Slow and steady wins the race because it's going to go into early access and it's not like we get to go on a break.
Trailer is playing!
Vabbè, un minimo di sunto della puntata 1.
Congratulations to the guys from Supergiant. That is an early access title. They're going to be updating over time, and it's available tonight, right now.
All right, cool. I am actually good to go whenever you are, man. All right, wait, let me roll this.
Okay.
All right, let's see.
I'm wearing the same fucking sweater as the last episode of the NoClip documentary, and I didn't know that I was doing that. This
Looking equally as good.
No, I don't know, man. That's sad.
Same shirt. Questa è una cosa che capiranno in pochissimi. Episodio 2, patchare l'inferno.
It's been more than a month now since the Game Awards and since Hades was announced and launched by us, and the holidays have come and gone, and the year has started off with a bang for us.
There was a while, we do this thing after we ship where we patch every day. And I am like addicted to patching. I am completely and hopelessly addicted to patching. I love those times because the feedback loop is so tight. It's like, okay, we fixed this, we added this, I changed this.
So after Hades' initial launch, we put out exactly 6 patches over 10 days. And those were split between technical fixes and new content and balance changes. A lot of that was kind of just the initial cleanup of cruft that any new game release has, just compatibility issues, driver issues.
I think the pace, in some ways it feels similar to the months leading up to the initial launch and announcement, but we do have an active player community out there that we're keeping an eye on and interacting with on a daily basis. So that does change things. They have a lot of feedback. I think they have high expectations for us. So I think we do feel a certain amount of, I don't know, I guess it's pressure to live up to what to exceed their expectations, really. So yeah, just calibrating players' expectations with what we actually deliver in this first major update will be really interesting. Hopefully they'll still be very happy with the game after they play what we have in store for this round.
We have a roadmap of how we want to build Hades. We know what we want to put in it before it's ready, before it's 1.0. And one of the realizations we had really early on while planning the next update was that people are actually playing this game for a really long time. And it was surprising to see people kind of keep recursive to the content and stick with it for weeks after they may have completed some of the
il team ha
stuff
avuto
that we have in
difficoltà ad adattarsi con il
So we
ritmo
realized that
dell'early
an update that we
access.
had planned for much later, maybe like the 3rd or 4th update in our roadmap, needed to come in much sooner. So we actually swapped a set of updates in order to kind of keep our roadmap intact, but also respond to some of what the community seemed to be. It's not even necessarily that they were asking for it, it's just what they were running into. It was based on our observations of what was happening with players who've been playing for a long time. So the combination of reading those early comments, looking at our schedule, thinking about what we wanted to actually approach next, ended up swapping update 4 or whatever for update 1.
So we have a lot of cool new things planned for the next big update. We're calling this the Chaos update because it has the introduction of chaos inside the blood gates that you can access in the game. This also, of course, comes with amazing new art from Jen and amazing new sound from Darren.
It has a new sort of intense difficulty modification system using Hades' infernal contracts. We've got a whole new look for the character. We've got new enemies, new environments, and almost none of it is exactly where we want it to be. It's close. A lot of it is really close, but we need to finish the art, we need to finish the feedback, we need to finish the text, we need to integrate the voiceover, we need to tune it, we need to play it again after we make the tuning changes to make sure we didn't break something. We need to set up the main menu so you can tell that the game changed. We need to write the patch notes. We need to get the feedback forum set up for when more feedback comes in. We need to have a play test where everyone experiences the content, and we need to do all of that in 3 days, I think. I think
Tutto
we
questo
can
in
do
3
that
giorni.
because we've done stuff like it. You can just go watch an old NoClip episode to prove that we can do that. But
the first character we're adding in our first major content update coming in January is Primordial Chaos, the origin of all things. And we are just figuring out what Primordial Chaos is supposed to sound like. We have a beat on it, but there's still some iteration. We're trying some stuff right now. Now that the game is out there and folks have played it and seen what it's like, I get to talk a little bit more openly about one of the aspects of the world building and the story that I've been so excited about, which is that we get to depict some of these characters from Greek myth that I don't think have ever been rendered in like modern media before. Hypnos or Nyx, or certainly Zagreus is not a character you have necessarily learned about in your one, Greek mythology session in elementary school.
Il giorno di Fuoco e Fiamme sembra il programma, decisamente. Mitico Greg Casavin, che era editore e redattore di GameSpot, aveva fammi sganciare voti alti raramente, poi decisi verso lo sviluppo di videogiochi.
Chaos is essentially the Big Bang.
Cose piccoli sviluppatori, mi è piaciuto molto a Sonier. Sistemare, il piccolo genere. Sai che l'ho provato?
And then from chaos sprang the Titans, and from the Titans sprang the gods, and heaven and earth, and everything in between, and so on. It's like, oh man, that is intense.
So here would be the combo with that same processing.
Would you not agree?
That's interesting.
It's just like too much going on now.
Yeah, maybe. The echo is like not terrible, but yeah.
To me, this already has, like, it sounds like a man and a woman talking already to me. You know?
We have met already. I know everybody here and there.
I think it sounds pretty rad.
You wish to leave this place, and it is my wish to make your doing so a little bit more interesting.
For me, from a writing standpoint, it all so clearly ties back into the themes of what this game is going for in its story, because in a story that's really about family, chaos is the most distant relative that all these characters have. So I want to understand how the dynamics of these characters play out as a family. So I need to know who their families are. So I had to trace that all the way back down their family tree, and it ends with primordial chaos. There's nothing before that. So it felt really good to be able to take this character, come up with our take on it, and on them, I should say, and put them in our game.
Oh, dang. Oh, she.
It's early, but it's pretty exciting.
Sweet.
Yeah. I'm basically like, it's
like super messed up.
It's like a Final Fantasy last boss.
Yeah, it kind of is.
I'm down with that.
Oh, I'm so down.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Be expecting that.
In the modern era of games, feedback is everywhere. So, we're seeing feedback in our official Discord. There's a subreddit for us. Social media has a lot of feedback. So I'm getting emails. I got all these emails over the break from people who had played it. There was a bug I got from Gavin that was just a picture of a series of text messages, angry text messages he got from his friend about the way I had tuned one of the Poseidon god boons. So there's a lot of feedback. There's a lot of feedback. It's coming from every place. So how do we stay on top of the feedback?
We could just spend 100% of our time, monitoring feedback coming in, and if we do that, we're spending no time actually addressing it. So I've wondered if I carve out specific times to check in on the community and then just sort of not do it when it isn't those times. I suspect that that'll help me and just kind of structure my time and my life in general now that it's a whole new universe for us. So that's something I've been thinking about for myself.
That has been a perpetual learning experience. At first, we just took all this loose feedback, and Morgan and Michael went through it in Jira, and there was 3,500 entries, and it's like the 117 things could be saying the same things. We could wipe out 30 of them just by fixing a bug, because some people are giving us feedback about something that's actually just like something that was broken and we didn't realize it. And then we moved to this system where you could upvote feedback in Discord, and that's
anche
really
i più piccoli si fanno in quattro, bisognerebbe molti videogiocatori si rendendo conto, spesso di più. È uno dei motivi per cui, per esempio, vi sto mostrando questo documentario, o perché faccio i Proviamolo o le top, in cui metto tanti giochi un po' più piccoli. Assolutamente.
And are you really ready in your production schedule to derail what you're doing to have a couple conversations about, some of the feedback that's coming in?
I would say like 60% of the feedback we get is like specifically about game tuning. Like, the sword is weak, the sword isn't strong enough. It's not straightforward how to address that, and that goes through multiple iterations. And it's a game with tons of different kind of abilities, the different boons you get from the gods and different weapon upgrades you could get from what we call the daedalus hammer, and they all have like synergistic effects. So you could have the spear, you know, with Poseidon's upgrade on it, with like a particular daedalus hammer upgrade, and you know, like a couple of other items equipped at the same time. So we just start hearing from different players about their different like builds and skill combinations and stuff like that, and we start looking at more.
Perché tutti insultano sempre a dire cosa ci sia dietro, penso che sia tutto quel lavoro come si sente. Beh,
you know, we're able to trivialize encounters that were
è la realtà delle cose.
One problem we
Avere
had
tonnellate
was,
di feedback
people were
significa
complaining
anche
that when you would
beccarsi
throw the
imbecilli.
shield weapon
Ci sta.
in the asphodel biome, that it would just keep traveling
Al di là dei
way
prodotti
upstream
rotti a
because
lancio,
there's no
esatto.
walls there
Dico sempre ti fanno i quattro grandi,
so
dico,
we made
siete
a number
buoni,
of
sì.
changes to get it to return to the player faster as a nice
Per certi
quality
progetti,
life
sì.
update to the weapon. Unfortunately, that introduced a bug where the shield actually damaged you.
We pushed a patch where the God boon applied to the shield throw would do damage, would apply it back to you when the shield like actually came back and returned to you. So you would like throw out your shield with the newly buffed Ares boon, and it would come back and hit you and do like 60 damage to you, and then you would die. I thought it was kind of funny. We fixed it, you know, in 12 hours. It was no big deal. It's not like we lost anyone forever. That's part of early access. Every game is going to have that moment. That's like a game development magic moment right there where, you know, it's not like we didn't test it. We played it. We tested stuff. We just missed this thing. You're just going to miss these things, especially if you're pushing as often as we are on the weeks that we push a lot of patches.
That was a bad place.
Are elites immune to stun?
No, he can't even stun them, so everything.
Because he got a wall slam, they just didn't stun.
It's because they're immune to stun.
Oh, they are?
Aren't they?
Yeah, you can learn more from like 1 minute of watching someone play the game than like your own hour of playing it. There is so much value in watching a streamer play your game, whether there's someone with 3 viewers or there's someone with, you know, 10,000 or 20,000 viewers.
And he's got a shop here. I mean, his run could last. Oh!
This is so hard to watch.
Oh, the cruelty.
Before we pushed a patch, there was this whole thing. I could just see, no one was really complaining about it, but I could just see people missing with the mouse when they used the cast ability. And knowing that we had fixed it, but we hadn't pushed the patch live was like really painful. It's actually really hard for me to watch streams where people are running into things that I know we've changed.
Patch! Gavin, push the patch.
You would have to restart the game anyways.
Gavin, you have to push the patch. I can't watch this. Oh, good.
There is a realness and a rawness to it.
Camilla, ciao.
There is
ancora giocarlo, Edis. Bellissima esperienza. Consiglio caldamente.
One of the things a
Però è
streamer
difficile,
does
cioè, è
that
tosto.
Maybe
Tosto
you know,
forte.
your friend sending you notes doesn't do as well is they're expressive. They're talking about their experience in a direct way. They are thinking about the choices out loud. I think something that's coming up in our own conversations and our own thoughts is like discipline. We think about discipline a lot, and we have production discipline, and we also need to start developing different kinds of self-discipline, because when a game is live, you could be tuning in all the time, and some part of you needs to know, this is where I go into the hole or go back to the lab and figure stuff out.
Oh, he doesn't know there's a 6-head one, huh?
Nope.
That's gonna be a pleasant surprise.
Oh!
Oh! Ah!
That's probably like exactly how we wanted the
Consigliato giocare da pad, meglio
Yeah,
base
it is.
pad. Per me pad
Now we want him to
assolutamente.
stop playing, patch the game, fight the Hydra again. It's all good. Push the patch.
Le patch sono applicate ad Hades a volte, svariate volte a settimana. Per l'audio director Darren Knob significa fixa sound effect, cambi musicali o anche nuove linee, nuove registrazioni per le voci, per i voice
I'm
over.
recording some sort of emergency pickups for Zag and Skelly. We're adding a thing which is sort of like a trophy system for completing runs with certain amounts of heat active, so making the game super hard and completing runs. And then we're gonna have these statues that are revealed in the area with Skelly. And he's gonna say stuff about them, and Zagreus is gonna say stuff about them, so I gotta record a bunch of lines for each of them, because I happen to voice both of those characters. They're going to ship tomorrow. We're going to push them to the world tomorrow, theoretically. But yeah, so we're gonna like incorporate, I think it's like 91-ish lines. Okay, the Skelly Trophy System, line 674. This is Zagreus talking. I just gotta remind myself of that. Don't do all these lines as Skelly. What's all this? What's all this? What's all this? A little more skeptical, maybe? What's all this? I think either the first one, let me do one more. What's all this? Maybe the first one or the last one. 675. Let me guess. They want me to fight all the way through the underworld, having used the Pact of Punishment to my bedchambers to make the going even more treacherous than it already is, and if I succeed, they'll reward me with some sort of useless trinket. Okay, not bad. It's a couple accenty things.
We want to.
I doppiatori sono gli stessi sviluppatori, alcuni. Lui sì, lui fa la voce a Zagreus e a Skelly e a qualcos'altro, mi pare.
A certain amount of pressure for sure. Like once we have those dates out there, it's like.
Io non mi ricordo se l'ho fatta sta cosa delle statue.
Missing their dates, I think. If we miss one of our major updates, is it the end of the world? Like, I don't know, but we've never done something like that before. And I think we will do our best to prevent that from ever happening, because those commitments that we make, we take them very seriously.
Early access is a learning process for us. The schedule,
Io
I
adoro
think,
lei,
is probably
è
the
fantastica.
hardest,
Ha praticamente fatto tutta la parte artistica del gioco.
This
Mio Dio.
particular milestone, the artist kind of got pitched over, like pitched a lot of work
altrimenti
in the
piantavi
very
il
last
gioco.
week
Ok,
of our
è una di quelle cose
milestone.
folli.
So we're kind of
Ok, va
scurrying
bene, allora
to
probabilmente
react to a
no.
lot of the designer changes and a lot of the content changes that we hope to get into this patch. It's gonna happen though, because everyone here is awesome and doing really great work. Joanne is doing amazing. She just made like 3 maps in 3 days, I think, which is not a pace our players should expect.
Complimenti, visivamente notevole, assolutamente, fantastica lei, assolutamente. Lo stile di Hades lo adoro.
The update are in, but it's poorly tuned and there's no art. So what we're trying to do right now is we just have a huge design meeting basically to go over the last details of the tuning. Then we also have this art meeting. We're going to go through and talk about each of the different pieces that do or don't have art and what we can do to get the art in.
Previously, we had this style of Zagreus's render. His animations kind of match the look of our approach in Transistor and Pyre, which is a little more dissimilar to the rest of the art direction and style of Hades, environment-wise, effects-wise, etc. So we are hoping to bring Zagreus in line with the rest of the game so that he both reads better on the background or in the environment, and also just matches the game stylistically in more of that like cel-shaded, like inked look. So that update is going in. I'm pretty excited about that because we've been talking about it for a long time. It was just one of those larger endeavors that we knew we would have to like give space to.
Okay, awesome. So first thing is on the Zagreus re-renders. You noticed something?
Yeah, Paige, do you know what a marker is?
Yes.
Okay, the Zagreus re-renders need their markers re-rendered as well.
Yes.
Okay, is that something you're in the process of?
That is something that which the process of was not told to me, so I'm not sure how to handle that.
Okay. But you know how to do them, or you don't know how to do them?
I don't know how to do them.
Okay. Is it possible to contact Camilo?
Yeah, I talked to him on Friday, so...
Okay. I think the process is...
Find Camilo.
I had a conversation with Amir that I want to make sure, like, for me, that's the thing, like, I don't want this to be us hyping everything and then sweeping the, like, tough stuff under the rug. And Camilo's been with us since the early days of Transistor, so he brought the characters of Transistor to life and to Pyre, and the characters of Pyre to life, and now Hades. And he's been with us for a long time, and he's at a point in his life where it sounds like it's time for him to, he wants to make some pretty big changes in his life, and one of those changes is moving on from this place.
Okay. I can be more involved if necessary, but it would be much better for Camilo to just tell you. Like, there's a script. He has a script that does this. That's what needs to happen. Is you need to run the script with some parameters, and that will create these SGA files, and then need to be checked in. So I don't think it's going to be terribly complex if we can just get a list of the steps from him.
I'll miss him a great deal. His perspective
Ciao
has been
Davide.
invaluable in the work that we've done to this point.
Sai che se visto cosa sta succedendo a Taiwan, qualcuno mi dà del matto.
To see what he comes up with next, 'cause I
In
think
realtà
he's
bisogna capire cosa succederà.
genius
Comunque,
animator.
questo è
One
un argomento che
animator's
non c'entra niente.
Everything in our games since Transistor, and he 3D models all that stuff too. So yeah, he's been a one-stop shop, and we've since had Paige Carter has been
Poi è
helping
successo
us on
qualcosa
3D
nelle
modeling for a
ultime 2
while.
ore che non so.
So we're not Camilo's staying with us for a while to help with the transition. We have we're looking for we actually posted a job opening toward the end of last year. So we have a lot of applicants that we're starting to go through and all that, but it's going to be a big change. Like, this is a studio where the number of folks who've moved on over the years, you can count on one hand.
Il design team è arrivato con un nuovo Move Wildfire, arma per Zagreus. Comunque la decisione di come animarla sta causando tensioni tra i vari lead.
So one of the things we end up having to do a lot is have what we call like what to do meetings.
Stanno succedendo cose nelle ultime ore.
Like people from who just represent expertise in different aspects of the game, art, engineering, design, whatever, creative development, and we
Attenzione,
put them all
che c'è la
together to
tensione,
help
quella
solve
era
problems.
inevitabile.
And in this case, one of the problems we're trying to solve right now is we have this weapon that internally we call the monster weapon, but it's basically like a gun that you shoot at guys. And this is a challenging one because it's a move while fire weapon. It's a kind of weapon that allows you to skate around and shoot it. And in a lot of 2D games, there are weapons like this. But at the very high standards of quality at Supergiant games, it can be hard sometimes to execute this stuff. So yeah, we end up having long conversations trying to figure out what the best way forward is. So the thing that we talked about yesterday, since we've all been having conversations about this kind of separately, is how can we reasonably do a move while fire weapon without doing like walk legs and all the crazy stuff to make his legs look like he's strafing? So one of the ideas that came up is like, can he float while doing it? So I have the monster weapon here with him floating. I'm sure it looks great to you on the top screen.
Like throwing out malt balls.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah. So like, I know there's a lot of temptation to do a bunch of like really crazy shit, but I wonder if he can just hold a gun and shoot it while floating.
Yeah, and I might.
Understand how ridiculous that statement.
How is that a ridiculous statement?
Yeah, and I had my reservations around that were like, that is not the fantasy of firing a gun, you know, like no. It is not. It doesn't include the part where you're floating. But there are examples like Space Harrier, if you're familiar with that. Where he's like, but you know, the gun is not the source of his flying. He just incidentally is able to fly while also holding a bazooka.
Yeah, so that's.
Space Harrier is like pretty ridiculous by today's standards.
Yeah, but our man floats. Like he does this, right? When you fire a thing, he floats. Like watch, I'll fire it and he'll float.
I'll prove it.
Boom.
You're right. It's done.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying there in the fiction exists reasons for him to.
Precedent is very important. Float. I'm just saying the combination of floating and gun.
This is what's
Greek myth is like a little like this is definitely one of those like this is like a pyre level concept that I will have to reach fucking deep, which is maybe fine. I just like I don't have any immediate answers, and
but I think the problem is so I get what you're saying, and I think Greg has the same concern. My feeling is, why are we trying to justify the floating? Like, we didn't justify it when he flies off the ground and does his little flip. So like, if he just holds his gun like he would hold it, and he happens to float while using it, I don't actually know that the gun needs to make him float. Like he's just choosing to fire it that way.
You're just saying Zagreus can just float.
Well,
yes, because he already does
today.
He does that.
I don't know. Okay, what are you guys talking about when you're saying he already floats?
Look at
what that means.
look at this.
Pick it up. No, I'll be right back.
Josh, you're leaving at the exact right time. Look at this.
Abandoning this conversation.
It's fine. You have an ally in Greg. That floating is weird. So, like, look at
what floating are you referring to?
Look-
I mean, I know like.
look at the cast. Look at the cast. Look at this.
Him having a moment of floating during his attacks and animations is normal because he's a powerful character. He's like springing around. It's like, yeah, he is powerful, but like flying. What he's doing here is not floating. He's flying.
I do agree personally, particularly because we're talking about like a weapon whose archetype is a gun. Like if the archetype was like Iron Man's, repulsor blasts or whatever, then it's all good. I think it should make some kind of sense. Any kind of sense at all would be the constraint I ask for. So if it remind the way that the shield that it reminds you of something, I think we actually want this to remind us of something if we can help it, as opposed to like the auras or something in Pyre where.
Guardate questo tipo di conversazione, cioè stanno in realtà dicendo che l'arma che è la pistola nel gioco, cioè diciamo l'arma da fuoco nel gioco, sta facendo un sacco di conversazioni che cercano di capire come e se implementare una cosa del genere in questi modi, perché potrebbe non starci bene. È interessante vedere i team di sviluppo come si confronta, e sono tutti molto talentuosi e molto bravi in quello che fanno, quindi non è gente alle primissime esperienze, ecco.
It's a whole new universe that you have to learn. Doing weird stuff, which is fine. We have a weird weapon in the game already with the shield, but the shield, at least people recognize it as like a Captain America shield.
In this case, the walk legs to me seem like it would just be for a single animation, right? He just has the fire and run animation.
And the reload.
And start and stop and reload and idle.
That's the problem. So
yeah, because it'll have a special attack, it'll have a reload. And
yes, this is like literally this execution, however silly, is literally the simplest way for us to do this. It is two animations. It is a fire and a trigger release. That's like the whole animation. My feeling isn't he's got to float and it's got to be a gun. It's more like, I like how this feels and works, and it feels really different than the other weapons. And without having to invest in a bunch of new technology and stuff, it basically works like this, with a trigger release graphic and a fire graphic. It's the most important process we have here, because it's like exactly what collaboration looks like, and sometimes what creative chemistry looks like too, because it's kind of messy. It always is. The things you think are going to go really fast sometimes take forever. Some of the things you think are going to take forever and have high conflict and we're going to be lost in the woods for a while, end up going by really fast. So yeah, you never know. That's the lesson. I have no idea ever, even after 9 years of working with these people, and some of them for longer than that.
Musica calma. Questo è il lancio di un update grosso.
Yeah, that was the thing I was asking you actually. So the part, like the asset that has all the information did not. Cool.
State parlando di tutt'altro, ok?
Yeah, so it's just the image. Yeah, that's actually pretty.
L'ex è bello ma troppo lento.
It's 9:39 a.m. on January 15th. This is the day.
Hai provato Curse of the Dead Gods? Sì, provato. Molto bello, molto bello.
We've promoted that our first major update is out today.
Ho evitato di andare avanti perché stavo già giocando a Eris. Non lo so, non mi ha ispirato ad andare più avanti, però bello.
To kind of like keep it a secret, but it sounds like some of the updated artwork has gone up prior to the update. So it's a little bit unfortunate because it creates confusion, it creates anxiety because there are players out there who like want to play it and they're like, well, why is the art up? But I can't download it yet. There's something wrong with my computer and the world. And it's like, dude, just everything's going to be okay. But thankfully, I'll take this leaking over the announcement of the game itself leaking last month. So it's I'll take that trade.
So basically what we're doing right now is we need a smoke test the build. So that means going through and making sure all the major stuff works, like saving and loading the game, and the major features we added are all still working. Yesterday a lot of us played the game and we have our QA running, but you never know if you make a couple last-minute changes, a couple last-minute fixes, if those can destabilize the game. And you'd rather find that out before you release the patch than when you're watching a stream of someone playing. These are all the small changes that went in from noon to 7:45 last night. You know, we found in one of the new maps something blocks your path, and we had to figure out why. Greg had to update the patch notes because of the changes that happened that afternoon. We made some last-minute tuning to the new dead zone settings and to the new trove tuning. We found a huge bug where
Kristal adesso è giocato con Game Pass e l'ho pure comprato perché quando i ragazzi così talentuosi così non sono sostenuti assolutamente. Il simbolo della sabba, se vedo abbonati mi dà la possibilità di farlo comprare. Forse lei è già usata.
And we have to make sure that any fixes to these
è già usata altrove, dico.
Like break the whole game.
Comunque non ti preoccupare.
That is what we have to do. So yeah, that's the morning. That's what all our mornings are.
So we got a bug yesterday where you would, when you entered the new mini boss room in Asphodel, you would sometimes just spawn in without riding the boat, and that doesn't happen with any other rooms. So that's a good sign, which means it's contained to just this room. And I just realized that it's a simple data issue. So when we build Asphodel rooms or any room, we have to like specifically say which directions you can enter from. Some rooms have exits on the left, some rooms have exits on the right. And for this room, because of copy pasting, a lot of times we copy paste data just because we have all the defaults set from a different room. This room had it set to left and right, so when you would enter from the right, it wouldn't find a boat going in that direction.
Potrebbe
and it would
essere.
just spawn you in the center. So it's just a simple bug fix, but it's part of the process of creating new maps. A lot of times it's hard to test because the game's randomized, so I could play the game 100 times and there's technically still a probability that I'll always enter this room from the left, which is why a lot of times we do full team playtest right before a patch where everyone gets to play the game, and chances are we'll find one of those randomized bugs.
Yeah, it's our first time doing it, first major update, so I really want to know what people think about the changes we added. There's also some like, will this update, you know, answer all their hopes and dreams for what they wanted to see in an update that comes a month later. So there's going to be a lot that we're going to learn really fast, maybe in a couple hours or a couple days, about how this process is going to go for the next however long it takes us.
This is Jenkins. He is our build server. He creates builds for us. The current configuration I have set up to push the actual build live. So this is a dangerous button to never hit at a time when we don't actually want to hit it, but I am going to hit it now after double checking everything is properly going. This upload is pretty fast. It takes about 3 minutes or so. And then once that goes, we will verify that everybody has it on the Epic launcher, though of course on Epic's backend it can also take a little bit of time to propagate.
This is good. This is a good patch. Patch is live because my mom is calling me. Hey mom, that's not a good patch. Now they'll start propagating it.
Yes, but it's normally very, very fast. The Epic side has never taken.
Patch number 54? That's a lucky number in Chinese.
Nice.
I mean,
it means
we have
don't
numbers
die.
all over the place.
Not die.
Auspicious patch.
Yeah.
I mean,
no death.
Jenkins says 54 for something. The actual build number is 12868. You know,
Bellissimo.
Internally, this
Bellissimo
is patch 7.
il coso di Command and Conquer Red Alert qua
whatever your
dietro.
favorite number
Bellissimo.
is,
There was also
Put your next to
Fortnite
it.
update today.
Okay, your
So it might be
auto
viewed
update's on, so
in favor
yeah,
of
just
Fortnite.
launch and then it should.
Yeah, it's not.
There we go. Sweet. Boom. It's done.
It's cute and not updated yet.
Are you? Mine's updated.
I just want to make it.
It's here. It's here. The update's live. Okay, in chat. He's saying that. Yeah. All right. There he goes.
Update.
Here he goes. Look at that. Look.
Oh, finally. Nice. We can play something. Hand simulator update.
Boom. Curl's updating, guys.
Yes.
Damn, his internet's like his internet is way better than our internet.
Okay.
There you go. Here we go.
Okay, now the question is, should I use the bomb or should I go into the Bloodgate?
Bloodgate.
Like, Bloodgate is,
Bloodgate.
I want to see the Bloodgate.
I will reach through the internet.
Do it.
Top of the sky.
What's in here? Come
There
on.
we go. There we go.
Oh. This is the new god probably. This is not someone I recognize in the name of Hades. Who is it? Ah. They have all grown soft. Chaos. Oh, that's the prime. Oh, is it stands there? Primordial originator. Wowee.
Deve essere fighissimo vedere qualcuno che gioca al tuo
Yes,
gioco.
it is.
Comunque.
the eyes and the faces and the eyes on the bottom. Wow. That's crazy. Caustic remedy. For the next 3 encounters, slain foes toss an inferno bomb at you. Afterwards restore 36 life. Wow. For next 2 encounters, each time you special, suffer after what? Oh wow, that's a pretty good thing because who needs special abilities? That's crazy.
This guy hates specials real hard.
For the next 3 encounters, each time you attack. Wow.
Today is Monday, February 11th, and it is the day before our second major update goes live. It's the Good Times update, where we're releasing the God of Wine, Dionysus, and our new
Dioniso
ultimate
non
weapon
c'era
called the
fin
Adamant
dall'inizio.
Rail, which I'm taking one last look at before we ship it. One of the things that can really help with creative problems is to give yourself a little bit of space. So we took a little time, thought about that move and fire weapon a little more, and realized in our hearts what we really wanted out of the weapon was for it to like feel and operate like a gun. And so we ended up going in a direction where you could still stand still by fire. The secondary is a grenade, and Greg had to make sense of it, so he called it Exegriff, the Adamant Rail. It's a firearm that is a precursor to all other firearms in the world, a weapon so dangerous it had to be locked away by the gods. So that's where we ended up, through the power of figuring it out, waiting on it a bit, and seeing what we really needed from it.
Yeah, last we spoke, we had just launched our first major update, and here we are about 24 hours away from the launch of our second major update. This one is more like the real thing in a way, because now that we've done the full cycle once before and having done it a second time, I think we're more finding our groove. But there are certainly many aspects of doing it the second time that were different from the first, and I wouldn't be surprised if we like continue to evolve aspects of this process like every single time we do it, even though the general
Dato anche su PC non spunta quello che solo i 3T. Può darsi che tu l'abbia già usato da qualche parte il Prime, è l'unica cosa che mi viene in mente.
I think we were pretty happy with just how much stuff we got into the update, but we were not necessarily super thrilled with how much it took out of the team to do. In some ways it was like as hard, if not harder, than just launching the game into early access, because it was our first time processing, thousands of loose notes of feedback.
We made some key changes since our first update, basically like reducing the amount of time for raw new like feature work so that there's more time to polish and iterate on the new features that are there. we release a big update and there's hopefully a lot of excitement for a couple of weeks, and then it'll kind of simmer down a little bit. Hopefully with these big updates, we do get people to come back and re-engage with the game, because it's really important to us, because that means we get the feedback that we want.
Ha avuto un processo di update veramente grande.
So all that's, work in progress.
E di comunicazione, dicevano sempre che cosa sarebbe arrivato dopo, cioè una roadmap veramente fitta.
I think there's like sort of less exhaustion than there was coming out of the Chaos update. But I haven't talked to everybody. so we'll see.
Ok, ringraziamenti alle 4.728 persone che hanno, contribuito tramite il Patreon a questa cosa. Ok, questi sono tutti quanti i Patreon. Non da vedere il mio abbonamento, non sono abbonato a nessun canale. E allora non lo so, forse... onestamente non lo so, perché non mi pare mi sia mai capitato. Strano.
Something that we want to really get right.
The underworld is sealed off. What you're attempting is impossible. You've seen what happens when you go too far. What are you doing, Zagreus? The underworld is sealed off. What you're attempting is impossible. You've seen what happens when you go too far.
Che figo. Veramente bellissimo. Allora, ragazzi, abbiamo visto questi due segmenti e abbiamo visto il processo che ha portato al rilascio dell'Early Access e tutto il processo di patching e di aggiornamenti che hanno fatto, che è veramente notevole. Ora, i prossimi sono Art e Music, questo davvero fighissimo, veramente fighissimo, e Hopes and Fears, cioè paure e speranze, di portare poi Hades su Steam, perché poi l'esclusività su Epic Game Store è valsa per un po', ma poi è stato rilasciato anche su Steam, che ha una platea spaventosamente più ampia, perciò eccetera. Ok? Vi ricordo che quindi questa reaction analysis sarà in 3 parti. Abbiamo visto che cosa hanno da fare e adesso sapete che cosa c'è dietro. Iniziate un pochettino a capire che Supergiant è un team che veramente, porca miseria, ha un certo modo di fare le cose e mi piace particolarmente perché sono poche persone ma con un'attenzione alla qualità veramente eccezionale, secondo me. Veramente fighissimo. Ok, ragazzi, il duro lavoro, esatto, è una buona ispirazione, sì, e non limitarsi a certe cose. Va bene, ragazzi, allora, noi per la seconda puntata ci vediamo giovedì prossimo, nel mentre ci sono tutti gli altri contenuti, d'accordo? Grazie a tutti per essere stati in live, mi raccomando, seguitemi qui su Twitch se ancora non l'avete fatto, pigiate quel bel cuoricino, abbonatevi con Twitch Prime se ne avete la possibilità perché aiuta davvero tantissimo il canale, seguitemi anche sui social come Instagram e Telegram dove c'è la community, supportate il canale tramite i link affiliati ad Amazon, Instant Gaming o tramite il Patreon. E iscrivetevi anche ai miei 2 canali YouTube, tutti quanti i link sono qui sotto o tramite il bot in chat. D'accordo ragazzi? A presto!